Welcome to Echoes of Dreamweavers. In a world where everyone is speaking, few are truly communicating. Effective communication is more than just words. It's about clarity, about connection, and purpose. Our guest today is someone who understands this deeply. Mrs. Selikem Acolatse Apaloo is a seasoned broadcast journalist with over 13 solid years of experience at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. She's a gender advocate, public speaking coach, and humanitarian, known for using her voice to inform, inspire, and empower. Today, she joins us to share her insights on how communication can transform lives. So please, without further ado, help me welcome the one and only Mrs. Selikem Acolatse Apaloo. So, dear Mrs. Apaloo, I would like us to start by looking at the basic rules of good communication.
So for every communication, we must understand that it is a dialogue. First of all, know that it's not a one-way affair. It's a two-way affair. To have effective communication, you must be clear in saying what you want to say, and at the same time, receptive to listening or getting feedback from what you're saying by listening to the other person also speaking. So in effective communication, you're trying your best not to dominate the conversation, but to allow a balance of a share of ideas. Another key thing for effective communication also is making sure that whatever you're communicating is being understood as you mean it to be understood. So for instance, in communication, it's not just what you're saying. Your voice, your face, your pauses, your gestures all make up part of the package of communication. So you must pay attention to that. So imagine that I'm telling you, come. Anyone who sees me doing this will feel that I am saying they should go. Gestures and mannerism and posture even speaks louder than what we're saying. So in communication, there's two things to looking at: verbal communication, but non-verbal are the gestures, the cues, the tone in your voice. So for instance, if I say, I'm excited, nothing shows that I'm truly excited. But if I say, I am excited, then I'm communicating right, because my body language, the tone of my voice, and my facial expressions all communicate that one thing. So in being effective in communication, you must pay attention to these non-verbal cues as well, because they contribute to having your message delivered as you want it to. Now, I want to talk about this third thing, which I hinted on in the second point, which is being understood exactly as you intended to. Knowing who you are speaking to matters in communication. So if you know your audience, you speak in a language where they can relate to, so that you are understood as you intend to. I always say that the worst thing that can happen to any good communicator is being misunderstood. So you're trying to communicate sarcasm, and yet it is seen as you are mean. You're trying to communicate jokes or laughter or just tease, and it is being seen as you are ridiculing. It means that there's something wrong with our communication. You're trying to be polite, and yet it looks or appears as though you don't know exactly what you're saying. So you must be clear. Let your language align with your non-verbal cues. You must use simple language and know who you are speaking to. All these come together to give you effective communication skills. I'm sure as we have this conversation along the line, the other things will also come.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Apaloo. Know your audience, number one. And secondly, use simple languages. I'd like us to look at how we can listen better so people feel truly heard.
To listen better, you must actually listen. To understand. People listen to conversations to react. Okay. So, and this is one of the things that causes a lot of conflict, even in relationships with others. Because somebody is, for instance, saying that the manner in which you treat me makes me feel unloved, makes me feel unwelcomed. And they are not done talking. Immediately you jump in and, oh, I'm not like that. I don't do it this way. What are you doing? You're basically listening to react. Now, when you listen to react in any conversation, what you're doing is you end up cutting into the person's conversation. So you don't allow them to speak, finish what you're saying. So you find a lot of people who have communication problems, for instance, with their spouses, having this issue with their spouses saying that, or their partners saying that, you don't allow me to talk. You don't allow me to finish. You didn't hear me. You didn't understand what I was saying. So to be able to listen properly, you must actually listen to understand. It means have the patience to allow the other person speaking to you to finish completely what they're saying. Let them land, let them make their point. Two, don't interrupt, don't cut in. And some of us think that in a conversation saying, oh, sorry to cut you, is fine. It's not fine. The fact that you're saying sorry to cut you and you're still cutting me. So it's not a polite thing. It's not a polite thing to cut to people's conversations when they're talking. Always allow them to finish. Make sure that you are actually following their thought process by asking questions. Ask for clarity. If you are not certain about what they're saying, or they're saying something or trying to make a point, because your aim is to understand the person and make them feel listened to, ask the relevant questions, ask for clarity, ask for further explanation, and then the person will give it to you. So you realize that if the person feels that you are asking, sees you are asking questions, sees that there is a genuine interest because you are listening and allowing them to finish their sentences, you are not cutting in, they feel more heard. Okay, they feel more heard. And then if the conversation requires you to respond, please do the other person the honors of responding. But respond in a manner that you know that wouldn't cause hurt or wouldn't cause pain. So you respond politely by letting them know how you feel about what they said. Or if they're saying something and you want to contribute, you can say, well, I feel that, use the first person. I feel that what you have said makes sense and I agree with you. Or I feel that what you have said is fine, but I have a different opinion. Politely. And then you can share your opinion. So respond. I'm saying that because sometimes people don't feel heard because they speak to you, say nothing.
Right.
Because for them, your response means that you heard. So when they are done speaking, respond. Say something. Respond or react to what they're saying. I'll say don't react, but respond. Because reacting is jumping in. Reacting is allowing your emotions to lead you. But responding is when you have internalized what you're going to say, thought thoroughly about what you're saying, and then giving the appropriate response. With these, being interested, not cutting in, letting them finish, and responding when they are done, you will be able to let them feel that they've been heard or that you're actually interested.
Those people who find it very difficult to speak up or to even ask questions whilst they are in a conversation, what advice would you give them?
People who find it difficult to speak up, I would say that always make sure that you don't go ahead of yourself. I'd rather, I'd rather, if you're not sure of what to say, you're not confident about it, I'd rather don't say anything or say
Mm-hmm.
something meaningful.
Okay.
Because if you end up saying something that doesn't come across as meaningful or something that will really contribute to the conversation. Say, for instance, you're having a board meeting. Let me use this scenario. Say, for instance, you're having a board meeting. Your
Mm-hmm.
managing director has spoken, assistant director has spoken, your head of department has spoken, and then they come to you and they say, what do you have to say? If in your mind they have said everything, you will just say that I want to appreciate everything you've said, and I really like what you said, or I agree with you or not. Okay. Um, Sometimes to avoid sounding or looking as though you are, and this is a concern for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to speak and not sound intelligent.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure that you are paying attention to the conversation. If you pay attention and you are listening properly, you can have mission away from yourself. And communication is not it's not to you don't look at communication like something to impress. Look at it
Interesting.
more
Mm-hmm.
like you're just having a conversation. Okay, you're also just adding an opinion. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but if you want to be sound like the smartest in the room all the time, half of the time you're not going to be listening to what is happening around you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Responses that connect to what the people said are the most meaningful. You don't have to sound intelligent. You can actually pick up on something they said and just agree with it. And that is okay. And so that is it. I'll say that wait for everyone in the room to speak before you speak. Um, Most people would look at the person who spoke last as the person that sounds more intelligent than everybody else, rather than the person who rushes to speak first.
How come,
Because,
Mrs. Apaloo?
but I don't know how this works, but um, will tell you that anytime you speak first, you deprive yourself of a disadvantage of getting to know what everybody else thinks. But when you speak last, it becomes the icing on the cake because at that point, you put yourself at an advantage by knowing what everybody else thinks. So it allows you to conclude beautifully,
That
to speak as you are quick to listen. Practice listening and listening well. Practice listening to other people and understanding other people well. And over time, when you finally open your mouth to speak, people have been saying, oh, this person sounds so good and intelligent. By the time you also open your mouth to speak, you would sound good because you take time to listen to others. Listening actually creates a better foundation for a better response in a conversation than rushing to speak. So even the Bible says that we when we listen, the more we listen, the more wiser we are than the one who speaks more.
you have shared so many powerful tips right now in such a short period of time.
Hmm.
How can I make my words clear and easy to understand? Is there any secret?
Clear and easy to understand. So, for instance, when we wake up in the morning, usually we have a very husky, grumpy voice. So, what you want to do is that during your bath time or in the mornings, when you wake up and you are done brushing your teeth and all that, engage your voice in making some loud. So there are some loud, flat sounds that you can engage in whilst putting your hand on your diaphragm. So I'm talking about your diaphragm right underneath your breast or your chest. And then you just make that sound, a sound that will occupy the entire room. So until you're out of breath will be a good example. You keep doing that. Breathing exercises help. Okay, holding your breath, releasing it also help. So making these sounds in the morning help. And then also you need to take care of that voice. Really, a lot of the stuff that we take, the cold drinks, are not particularly healthy for our voices. So
Okay.
stick to your warm fluids and stick to the warm fluids more than the cold stuff. I would say avoid it completely. Some people say banana helps. Well, it could, but I've realized that training your voice, like what I said, those flat sounds that you make early in the morning, constantly help you to try and get a clear voice. But the most important thing is being able to learn how to project your voice. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
what do I mean by voice project? Projecting your voice means speaking in a manner that, one, you are not shouting, but your voice is projected enough, your voice is thrown up enough for the person at the other end of the room in which you are to be able to hear you. Your voice must fill the room. So for instance, when you're talking one-on-one with somebody and the person's very close to you, this is probably how you'll be sounding. Okay, like how I'm talking right now. But
Right.
if I want to project my voice, then I'm making sure that if there's somebody at the far end of the room in which I am, they can hear me. So today, this is how I am going to project my voice to ensure that I am heard by the other person at the other side of the room. I'm just doing that in that example. So you see that
Right.
I am not shouting, but I'm projecting my voice. I'm making sure that I'm loud enough for the person at the other end of the room to hear me. Now, practice speaking like that constantly, every day. Practice it, practice it, practice it. And as you practice, it becomes a part of you. So, whenever you need to speak and within a large group or any place or in a boardroom, you project your voice when you're speaking so that your voice is not low, you're not sounding not confident, you're mumbling and all of that. Also, one of the things to do to avoid mumbling, some of us mumble, like we speak really fast. And I used to do that a lot. Now, the trick is let the first and last let attention, and I'm going to do it in this sentence that I'm going to right now. So you pay attention to the words that you are speaking so that the first and last sounds of the words come through. If
Wow.
you notice, it naturally slowed me down
Mm-hmm.
because I was making an effort for the first and last sounds to come through. Okay. So when you do that constantly, you practice that. And you see, um, being able to speak well and confidently comes with practice. A lot of things have got to do with practice. You have to practice what you're going to say. You have to practice what you have researched, your content, your material. Practice how you want to sound. Now, if you keep doing that constantly, it will get to a time you may not necessarily need to practice, but if you are called upon impromptu, you will be able to do something good. So practice is very important. Practicing for to be a good public speaker is critical. Practice, and do your research. It's not just about sounding confident, but it's also about making sure that the material you have is a good material. So find time to do the research properly. Do the research, get a solid material together. Make sure your beginning is solid your ending is solid. So the material is good. Then go through the material, go over it over and over and over. And if you have somebody around you, you can also present it to the person. Let them give you their opinion. It helps. Without having anyone else around, you can also present to a mirror. So why do I say a mirror? I'm saying a mirror because the mirror now shows you the reflection of yourself. It makes you know how you look when you are talking. Now, as you present to the mirror, you become comfortable with what you're seeing. And so it makes you confident about the image that is going to be out there when you're speaking. And it now becomes part of your memory because you rehearse with your mirror. So as you rehearse to yourself and you become comfortable with how you look, how you sound, what you're saying, then you can now confidently take the message out to others because it's not that you are talking and you're thinking, hey, am I okay? Is my hair okay? Am I looking okay? Am I looking funny?
Right.
All those thoughts that are going on in your head matter. And I want to use the opportunity to talk about self-talk. Look, to have effective communication, especially if you are doing a presentation, you must drown the voice in your head that tells you are not good enough. You must be confident in yourself and believe in yourself. You have been given the microphone to speak because anyone in the audience that sees you with the microphone knows you have the microphone because you are competent. Now, anyone who shows up to any audience, stands in front of them and holds the microphone, by default, people in the audience feel that you are competent. So they actually give you the benefit of the doubt. So don't be afraid of the crowd because you've seen them. Actually, they are actually wishing you well. And this is backed by research. Research has proven that 70% of the audience actually want you to do well when they see you with the microphone. They are actually looking forward to you doing well. And so it's part of the fear in public speaking where people step up before an audience and they are afraid. They are afraid because of what they have told themselves in their head. Now, research has proven that what you speak to yourself in your silent moments becomes you. So the barrier between you and your achievements is what you speak to yourself in your silent moments. It is you. It's not out there, it is within you. It's all happening within you. Now, if you tell yourself constantly that I'm a great public speaker, I am good at doing this, I'm a good interviewer, trust me, it will begin to reflect in your life. Now, you want to check this. The days you wake up and you tell yourself, oh, I'm tired, just for today, I'm tired. Trust me, that day, the whole day, you'll be tired.
Mm-hmm.
It won't go away.
Right.
If you tell yourself, for instance, there are some house chores that we all don't like doing. Some people don't like the ironing part. Some people like the sweeping. Some people don't like the dishwashing. But as long as you tell yourself that dishwashing is difficult, it will always be difficult. Now, the day you start saying to yourself that dishwashing is easy, it becomes easier to handle. Now, whatever you perceive and tell yourself is easy actually turns out to be easier for you to be able to perform whatever task it is. So we are saying that in public speaking as well, and in communicating with any audience as well, a room full of people, one of the things that you actually need to deal with is what you tell yourself before you step out there to speak to that audience. Speak positively about yourself. I am good enough. I've got this. Once I have got my material, I have researched, I have rehearsed, I have practiced, I am fine and I will do well. I am thinking positively about this is going to have a positive outcome. I'm expecting people to love this. It's going to go great. Now, when you have that positive self-talk, it reflects in your performance, and at the end of the day, it gives you the feedback that you want to. But if you tell yourself the negative, that's exactly what you're going to get. It's going to increase your anxiety, it's going to increase your tension. You're not going to be there's not going to be any self-love when you're talking. And so you lose your confidence, and then it begins to show. You're shaking, you are looking sideways, you're not making eye contact because it's all happening in here.
In the mind,
Then
yeah.
some of us also like to think for our audience. Stop being a mind reader when you're speaking to any audience. In the audience, and you think that the frown that they have frowned is directed at you.
Right.
Trust me, the people in the audience, let me tell you something. As they are sitting there, some people are thinking of school fees to pay. Others are thinking about what they're going to do, how they're going to plan their day because they have to take their mom to the hospital. Others are thinking of their rent coming up, their bills to pay. People are thinking about their problems as they are sitting there. So you are not you are not the reason why their faces are like that. Their faces are like that already. So please don't be a mind reader. Don't allocate, don't judge yourself based on what you are seeing, the expressions you are seeing. Now, one trick I always give people when I'm coaching them in public speaking is, as a public speaker, you're going to address an audience, arrive early. Now, when you arrive early, you have about 30 minutes, an hour, or maybe 35 minutes to the time you're going to speak. Engage the very first people in the first row. Engage them. Walk up to them, say, hello, my name is Sally, and I'm here to I'm part of the speakers for today. And what about you? It's okay, so I'm Dorothy, I'm from here, I'm from here. Okay, so I'm from this institution, and I do this and I do that. What about you? So you formed an
First
acquaintance.
connection.
You've made an initial connection with at least three of the people sitting in the first row in front of you, whose faces might be too heavy for you. Now, once you've done that, you've knocked down one hurdle already. These have become your acquaintances. So now they're looking at you with more excitement. You are looking at them because you know them and you know who they are. So the fear is halfway slashed.
Wow.
Okay? Because you're talking to
This is
familiar
a
people.
top-notch secret that you're revealing here.
I'm telling you. So it can work for anybody. Okay, so these are some of the things to consider.
Definitely, confidence can transform the way we connect. And when we are more at ease, we are more open to forming real connections, as you said. So I'm curious, what's the best way to make a good connection with someone new? I mean, it's at times for people, for majority of us, it's very difficult for us to approach people for the first time. So are there any tips?
Networking is your network. It is somebody who's going to recommend or mention something that is going to help you in your career, in your job, your family, whatever. People are like money. Okay. So wherever you go to, whatever function you attend, make sure you don't leave there without making a connection with at least three people. At least three people. If you're not enough, well, one person, fine. If you say one person, that's okay. But what will make it easy? Have a goal. What is your goal? Your goal is expanding your net worth. So that is enough motivation for you. I'm here to expand my net worth and increase my network and broaden my network. So that is why I am here. So with that motivation, you're motivated to step out. Now, when you step out, there are people that you see monitor their behavior. And you can tell sometimes in a room full of people, you can tell that, oh, this person will be easier when I talk to the person, or this person will be nicer. You
It's
can
so
just
true.
tell. So, yeah. So pick that one person and walk up to the person. Say, hello, my name is Sally, and I'm here from so and so. I was invited by this person, and I was looking to have a great time, but I saw you out there and I thought I'll just reach out and say hello. So the person will say, okay, I am so and so, and okay, so where do you work and what do you do? Where do you stay? You might never know. The person may even be going your way. And, and sometimes you may even get a free ride home. You may even
Right.
be neighbors. It happens. Now, when you strike that initial conversation, make sure you take their contact or their email, whichever they are comfortable with, and share yours as well. Now, the main problem is not even meeting the people. The main problem with many of us is the follow up. We don't do the follow up. We neglect the first 3 days of meeting somebody is your best chance at having a great connection with them. Now, the sooner you call them back after you've met, the more they will feel that you value the connection. A party 1 month ago, it's me today, by tomorrow morning, afternoon, or tomorrow, the following day, I should be hearing from you. Not the following day, the day after, or the third day. These are the best times to reconnect with the person. It's easy to link up. The person may be meeting so many people, so it's easy to reconnect and say, oh, I was the lady who was wearing the yellow the other day at this conference and I walked up to you. I'm Selikem. Okay, so it's easier. Now, once the person also realizes that you paid attention enough to get back to them with that urgency, they feel you value the connection. And so once they see that you a sign that you value the connection, they also respond appropriately. Okay, now to deepen the connection, you want to make sure that you build trust. And trust comes by listening, making time for the person, and investing in the relationship. You are talking to the person, or you call to check up on the person, oh, how are you? And the person said, oh, my son is not well. My son is not well. Checking up. How is he doing? Is he much better? The hospital. How is it going? Now, your ability to stay constantly in touch and mention issues that are relevant to them makes them build trust with you. Because people do things for their friends. They support their friends. They help their friends. So, for instance, if there's an opportunity or an opening for something, I would choose you over someone else because I have a stronger bond or a connection with you.
Right.
So that means that connection needs to be invested in. Invest in the connection by having frequent conversations. Don't let the period of silence be too long. Stay constantly in touch. You build connections. You may meet at another program. You may even decide to meet the person one on one somewhere at a function or something. And then the connection grows from there. Now you begin to share articles, you begin to share relevant links to their career and what they're doing. They also begin to see things that are relevant to you and they share. So you are mindful about where the person is coming from and what they need. And you are trying in your communication with them, try to bring up those things. So, for instance, you and I are friends. I'm a pastor, you know, I'm also a journalist. And so there's an inspiring a conference coming up for all pastors. You send me the link. Oh, Sally, there's this pastors conference coming up. So you can join. So maybe a friend of mine is organizing it. If you're free, you can join. So that makes me realize that, okay, Beatrice thinks about me. Okay, so then that connection moves from being just an ordinary connection to being a connection that is worthy because people help, support, and they show up for people they trust. When that trust is built, naturally the connection grows, and then you begin to see the benefits from that connection.
Mrs. Apaloo, what are the do's and don'ts? But specifically, what are the don'ts when it comes to networking communication?
The don'ts, number one is don't talk too much. Some of us talk too much and talk and talk and trying to cut you and you're not cutting. Unless I have 1 hour, the conversation is not respectful of others' personal space and their time. Let them feel valued. Yes, show concern, but don't stay